Hey you guys, nice to see you again. I'm away from the river this time. It's several hundred yards off in the distance so that you can hear me, and I really appreciate those who brought it to my attention that I was making it stressful for you to listen. I'm off in the trees now and it's a lot quieter. So in any case, what I wanted to talk to you about today just for a few minutes is labels and consciousness and media and tunnel vision and things that are keeping us from being self-aware, which is the biggest fear of our rulers that are working on destroying life on this planet right now. And by the way, that is their goal. It's not just control. It's not just Agenda 21, which is part of it. It's not even just population reduction. It's extermination of life on the planet. And I know it's really hard to grasp that and imagine it. It can be emotionally distressing, but if you just get calm and clear and look at what's going on, a lot of things make it very obvious. That doesn't mean that it has to happen. You know, we have massive healing power in every one of us. And so the question is, how can we let that loose out of the chains of tunnel vision, like I was saying, so that we can have a chance to turn around what's going on in this beautiful planet and not let life be exterminated like the rulers intend to do. Not even their upper middle level people know that that's the goal. They think it's population reduction and they're going to be in the elite remnant, right, that gets to have the world as their playground. That's not the plan. It's a step-by-step ceremonial sacrifice of the biosphere, you might say. That's pretty accurate. And it's up to us if we want to let that happen or not. But, you know, I don't think we're going to be able to stop it by force or by direct confrontation. That's what they want, because they've got all kinds of weapons to use and have fun getting rid of us if we give them the excuse like that. So there's something much more powerful. And you're carrying it around inside. You always have been. Like Dorothy with the red slippers, you know, in The Wizard of Oz. She had no idea. She was going off to Oz and trying to meet the wizard and everything, and she didn't realize until later that she was wearing the red slippers, and that's our consciousness. It has massive power. It's the biggest fear of the rulers, that we might discover that before they conclude with their plans and wipe out life on the planet, including themselves, by the way. That's one of the reasons it's hard for us to grasp what they're doing. They've got their reasons. So what I'm talking about today is labels. If you identify yourself as a conservative or a liberal, sorry, or a socialist, or even an anarchist, or left or right, or whatever, you know, even environmentalist, as soon as you get a label, it's like your mind program locks onto that and you can't think outside of it. And what we need to do, if we want to truly wake up, not just be able to recite what's going on that's bad in the world, that's not waking up. Even if you understand it, that's not waking up like I'm talking about. This kind of waking up is self-awareness, and that's the key to turning things around on the planet. We don't even need a majority or millions of people or anything like that. A fairly small number, small critical mass could do it. And one of the first elements of being able to participate in that is getting rid of your labels. And it's scary for a lot of people because that's their identity, it's their sense of comfort and familiarity, all that. But if you want to have clear vision, you can't have labels. Whatever's true is going to stay true. Dropping a label is not going to threaten anything good. And then you'll be able to see. An example of that I talked about recently with the Green New Deal. And most of the supporters of the Green New Deal, they have some picture of the importance of environmental issues, and especially like organic food and things like that, which are great. I've been a supporter of these real environmental issues and organic farming and all that since the 1960s. But that doesn't mean that's enough for you to understand. You have to, if you want to do something like the Green New Deal and, you know, fix the country and the government and everything, you can't only understand that we need good food and that we need enough money for everybody to get by and everyone has to be healthy and, you know, have an access to real health care. You must have a much wider understanding. You have to understand how economics works, or you make bad judgments, like the people who are promoting the Green New Deal. At the lower levels, they're just following and getting really excited because it's environmental, right? It must be good. And part of it is. But the idea of fixing the economy by a minimum wage or by the government just giving you a certain amount of money to live on, that's a disaster. It's actually suicide. And you have to have more understanding of things than just organic food is good. You know, that you have to understand central banking for one thing. And if you don't, you're not going to make a good proposal for the economy at all, or for prosperity or anything like that. And I think even the current president is trying to do a good job. That's why the media hates him, of course. I don't think he completely comprehends what's wrong with the central banking system. It's called the Federal Reserve, and that's a very misleading name. It's not part of the government. It's controlled from outside, foreign ownership. It's not using any of its own reserves. It's a total scam. And that has to be understood and abolished, like Kennedy tried to do before he was murdered, and that's part of what he was murdered for. But that must be gotten rid of. And healthcare, you can't fix people's health by giving government total jurisdiction over everybody's health care. On monopoly, they call it single payer. That's a horrible idea, because the kind of health care that the government supports is the current medical industry, doing drugs and injections of all kinds of poison into even babies. That's not a brilliant idea to make them in charge of health care. In fact, it's really bad. So, you know, probably 1 million people a year are dying from the current health industry. And many more than that are having their lives ruined by getting addicted to multiple toxic medical drugs. It's a really bad idea. You know, real health information is suppressed in this country, and doctors are murdered for trying to talk about it. That's why we have a private platform that we talk about those things on, because it's very dangerous to bring it out in detail in public forums. But the point of all this is that if you want to have understanding, if you want to unlock the healing power that you've got that can take care of your body and help other people, but way beyond that, it can change the energetic atmosphere of this planet. And if you want to do that, one of the first things you have to do is drop labels. And just remember, you just want to know what's true. You don't care what label it is. It requires a broad understanding, not a specialty, not just organic stuff, or not just that business, free market capitalism is good, which it is. By the way, we've never had it in this country, as far as I know. Not completely, not the way that we need to. And the people that complain against it, they either have no understanding of economics, or some of the upper level ones are just malicious and they want tyranny, whether it's called communism or fascism or anything. Doesn't matter. It's control over your lives. And one of the big things in the Green New Deal as it is now is massive personal control over just about every aspect of your life by the government. And that is like an invitation to hell on earth. It's a really terrible idea. These people that supported Ocasio-Cortez and Organic Consumers Association, which I've supported for many years, is making a big mistake to support this thing as it is now. It needs to be changed and fixed. But they're just gung-ho into socialism, and this always happens, you know, in different parts of the world. People get all excited and they think, oh yeah, we just have to have government give us everything, and then it's going to be great. And they end up like North Korea or Communist China or Venezuela, which used to be one of the richest countries per capita, and see the people get destroyed, reduced to a very austere, semi-slavery, starving type lifestyle, and the few that are orchestrating the utopia and selling everybody on this stupid idea that socialism's going to make everything great, they end up as an elite. They're in control. They have the assets. They have most of the money, and it's all in the name of helping the people. You know, the old Soviet Union was supposed to be for the people, and so is Communist China, and so is North Korea, and they all say they're for the people. We had people saying that kind of stuff when I was in college in the 1960s. You know, you got to drop the labels and say, question everything. Maybe I don't know everything there is, and I need to be open to it and keep learning. Whether the life on this planet is allowed to keep living, or whether it gets exterminated according to the plan of the so-called elite rulers, it's really up to us, you know, to a large degree. And yeah, it comes from a higher power. It's just grace if we get the idea of becoming conscious. But from our point of view, it really is up to us, and it's not just expertise in an intellectual field of understanding. You have to become conscious, or whatever you learn is going to be misapplied. It's the most powerful tool of turning things around on this planet that I know of, and I've been looking at it for many decades, more than 50 years. I know what the global rulers are planning to do to us. I know what they're doing to us now. I know how all these different agendas fit together, you know, the chemtrails, and which most people are oblivious to. They think it's a conspiracy theory, and the toxic drug medicine and injections, and toxic agriculture. I mean, nobody intelligent with good motives ever does these things. They're all coordinated from a higher point. And the Agenda 21 stuff, to, as Rosa says, to inventory and control every item and life form on the planet. Those are all those programs, and dirty energy, nuclear power, all that stuff is coming from a high, very small group of people that is controlling the whole thing. But they have to have you not become conscious, because you're much more powerful than they are. And to use that kind of power that I'm talking about, you don't even have to say a word. It's all internal. And it's not a belief system. It's not a religion. It's not some cool thing to believe in, or it's nothing like that. It's real. So I thought, well, it's the only thing I can think of that we can do if we want a better environment for our kids and the generations to come after. And of course it's going to involve organic or beyond organic agriculture. It's going to involve real health information that's not allowed now. It's going to involve clean and free energy sources, which you don't need to tax people. You know, this stupid Green New Deal thing, it's really misleading. You don't need to take the money from the... Communism always goes after the so-called rich people and tears up the whole society. We should not be dumb enough to fall for that. There's almost no difference between communism and socialism, and even fascism. It's all pretty much the same thing. It's tyranny, and they sell it to us depending on how dumb they think we are and what we'll fall for. And I'm just suggesting you don't fall for any of that stuff. Realize that your power is not going out and fighting with people and debates to prove the other guy's wrong. Or that's a waste of time, and your time is super precious. So where the real hidden power point is inside. It's all internal. I know it seems, you know, like fantasy and hard to believe, but it's absolutely true. So if you're ready to get into that, I suggest you drop your labels, question everything, drop your malice against everybody, even the real bad guys, the ones at the top levels of the power structure that are doing satanic rituals and, you know, torturing and killing kids and all this kind of stuff. They're really doing that. But malice and hatred against them corrupts your frequency and your energy that you need if you're brave enough to find the real PowerPoint. It's like Archimedes is famous for saying, give me a place to stand and a lever long enough and I'll move the world. That was symbolic. Yeah, it's true in physics you can move heavy things with long levers, but that's not the full meaning. The leverage point is inside you, and if you want to use it, realize how valuable your time is. Stop hating anybody. Stop condemning anybody. No one's going to be lost forever. We all come from the same place. If you want to get into it seriously, you can come to our private platform if you want, planetaryhealingclub.com, and you'd be really, it would be an honor to see you there. That's where we're working on it in a supportive, private, interactive environment. But you don't have to join us. You can do it on your own because Spirit's with you all the time. You've never been alone in your entire life or any other time. So you need to tune into that, and what it will open up to you is beyond anything I could describe. And I'm suggesting, as a beginning point to start on, fix your health, fix your energy. Stop worrying about aging in the usual way. It's not necessary. The degenerative disease is abnormal and unnecessary. Susceptibility to infectious disease is unnecessary, abnormal. You don't need to be injected with poison to become immune to diseases. That was a fraud from day one when Jenner started it in the UK about 1799. The real immunity is generated internally, and if you learn what to do in daily lifestyle habits, like what you're eating and drinking and sunlight exposure, which you need, grounding, exercise, sleep, things like that. If you learn the details of how to use that and detox through fasting and juices and enemas and things that people are terrified of, but that are really important, then you don't have to worry about the physical body problems anymore. And that makes it easier to do the real work, which is waiting for you internally. It's very powerful. And I don't know if anybody's going to hear me, but it's really true. And if we get probably 1 out of 1,000 people or less in the world to hear this and take it seriously, join us in Planetary Healing Club. It could be enough to change the whole atmosphere so that even the bad guys begin to wake up. See, we're not after hurting them or damaging them or destroying them or anything like that. That's a mistake. Just like Luke in the Star Wars, trilogy, the Emperor, this bad force, wanted him to kill his father, right, Darth Vader, and then become the new apprentice to the dark power. Well, that's what you become if you have malice or condemnation or hatred for anybody. Self-defense you have to have, but that doesn't require hatred. Whatever you have to do does not require hatred, because that's going to get you out of touch with your guidance that you've always had, and it's waiting for you. Anyway, if this strikes a chord of truth in you at all, you're welcome to join us, planetaryhealingclub.com, and if you don't want to do that, start to investigate on your own, question everything. Don't go along with the socialist environmentalists. The real environmental concern, that I've had since the 60s, as I said, is critical. I mean, the environment is not like some kind of cult. It's our life support system. We have to take care of it. It's not whether you're left or right or what political party you're in. This is why we are able to live on the physical level, because of a healthy environment. If that gets destroyed, and it's being intentionally destroyed now through geoengineering and chemical farming and the microwave frequencies that are bad not just for people, but for insects and trees and grass and animals and birds and everything. They know it. They know it's bad. They're not confused. They're not short on research or anything. They're not giving you injections because they think it'll make you immune or anything like that. They know it's a scam. But they're also really confident right now that, you know, it's too late for us to be able to stop what they're doing and we're going to be wiped out. But it's not, I don't think it's too late. It may be too late by direct confrontation, but opening up the real power that you have, it's not too late for that. So think about it, and if you want to take part, if you're one of those 1 out of 1,000 or less people in the world, wherever you are, whatever country you're in, join us at planetaryhealingclub.com, or do it on your own, or do it with other like-minded people. It's all internal. What appears to be what we have to do on the outside, the only way that works, it's directly proportional to the consciousness that you acquire. And that is not a matter of memorizing a bunch of stuff or just learning on the intellectual level. It's much deeper. I encourage you to do that, and don't, if you are fortunate to understand that it's real and urgent, don't wait. Start now. We got ways to do that. Talk to you soon.